How's it going, everybody? This is Dominic Minchella. I am the Kansas City Chiefs beat writer on SI and the host of the Kansas City Chiefs Insider Podcast. Thank you guys so much for stopping in today as we continue on with our expectations. We've talked about several Chiefs players thus far through this series. We've covered Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, Hollywood Brown, etc. If you've missed those, go check them out. You're not going to want to miss them. As well as yesterday, we talked about Xavier Worthy. And while that wasn't necessarily a big expectation video, it was a it was an expectation mixed with a prediction. If you wanted to check that out, I suggest you go and see that before we continue. Today, though, we're going to be combining two players into one as an expectation, and that's going to be the two players with the most hype going into the into the training camp, and that is wide receiver Rashee Rice, as well as newly drafted first rounder in the 2025 NFL draft, Josh Simmons. So, as we know, the reason that I'm combining them together is the fact that Andy Reid has said that he expects both Simmons and Rice to be ready to go for training camp. Just as I've touched on several days in a row now, training camp will begin on July 21st. You're not going to want to miss it, as that's the last step before football activities get underway. Super exciting stuff for those guys being able to participate in training camp, especially dealing with both injuries that they've had. As we know, Rashee Rice missed a bunch of time last season due to injury, tore and broke LCL, as well as Josh Simmons. He fell to the Kansas City Chiefs as the 32nd pick overall in the NFL draft after several franchises believe that his injury was significant enough to move past him. But obviously, since the Chiefs needed their offensive line help, it makes sense as to why they drafted him. That being said, both are cleared to go. We're excited to see him. So here are the expectations going forward. Obviously, we're going to be touching on Josh Simmons first, just because the expectations might not be as high, given that he is a rookie in the league. I would go as far as saying that I would be super surprised if Josh Simmons isn't competing for that left tackle spot for the remainder of the offseason. It's a great sign that he's given full access and hopefully full access at training camp to compete for the role alongside Jalen Moore. Jalen Moore obviously was a free agent addition brought in prior to the 2025 NFL draft. Now that they've got these two players, they could go either way. They're in a position, the Chiefs are, to where they could either give the starting role to Jalen Moore, a guy who has more NFL experience, while it's been more in a backup role. He does have certain starts here or there. Or you go with a guy like Josh Simmons, a highly touted prospect. If he wasn't injured, was predicted to go very much higher than where the Chiefs had to select him at. It makes sense as to why that's that competition right there. You need that competition between those two. Obviously, it might be more difficult to put Simmons into a role right away, just depending on how his injury recovers, as well as his confidence level, what he shows at the pro level. Thus far through the offseason, though, Andy Reid has expressed his gratitude and his happiness with the progression that Josh Simmons has made. Patrick Mahomes as well. I'm sure that he is looking forward to having Simmons on the roster for the next 4 years, especially after the amount of times that Patrick Mahomes was sacked last season. He doesn't want to touch the grass all that often this season. Well, I'm not saying that Josh Simmons is going to be the elite guy that's going to stop all of the attacks on the left side of the offensive line for Kansas City, primarily for Patrick Mahomes. I do expect him to have a really big impact in year one. There are people saying that he's not going to be able to have as big of a impact in year one due to his injury. But as we've seen thus far, if he's able to continue progressing well, I think that he has a legitimate shot at earning that left tackle starting position in week one. And if not week one, down the line in the season, he's going to be the guy that the Chiefs rely on. He's their bread and butter. He's their top prospect that they've got going right now. They want to make sure that he gets all the love that he can, not just to hand it to him, but also that he looks to earn it. Simmons is eager to get back out onto that football field and provide. He's been wanting the Chiefs to, or the Chiefs coaching staff, that is, to give him the opportunity to go out and, fully participate. But obviously, they've been holding him back to make sure that he isn't going to further injury. I would say I am fully expecting Josh Simmons to become a major contributor to the offensive line. And if he doesn't, I would say that the first season would kind of be a shot in the knee. A guy that you waited so long for in the draft, a guy that you're taking a chance on. I understand that he is very good when he is healthy, but we haven't seen how he's going to progress into the National Football League. I'm super hopeful that he's going to be everything that the Chiefs want him to be, but it has to start with the production on the field. Off the field, he looks like $1,000,000. He's large. He's got great size. He's fast, nimble, limber. There's a bunch of things that going his way, and I'm just looking forward to hopefully seeing the expectation that I have for him come true. Now let's shift over to Rashee Rice. Obviously, Rashee Rice was hurt. I keep saying obviously. I'm so sorry about that. He was hurt last season. The expectation, though, from looking at what we've seen thus far this offseason, are very high. Rashee Rice is coming back into a wide receiving room where he's likely to be the number one target for Patrick Mahomes. And as he should be, Rashee Rice, when he's healthy, he's proven to be an asset for the Kansas City Chiefs. 938 receiving yards in his rookie season. He was on pace to being one of the top wide receivers in year two before the injury. Now that he's dealing with things both health-wise and off the field and discussions on a potential suspension, it is important to note that if Rashee Rice is healthy for the entire season, he's able to make his way into a full 17 games, or I would even say between hopefully 15, depending on how long, if he does get a suspension. I would say that he's going to lead the Chiefs in receiving yards. We haven't seen a different receiving yard leader in several seasons. It has been Travis Kelce, but now that Travis Kelce, his production continues to decline, I can see a world where Rashee Rice, he's both coming off of an injured season, but he's also looking to prove himself as this young wide receiver for the future for Kansas City. He needs to make a statement on the receiving side of the football. We know how he can play. We've seen how he can play. Now he just needs to make sure that he trusts his injury enough and the recovery that he had to be able to go out and play like Rashee did before he got hurt. Patrick Mahomes is looking very forward to getting Rice back onto the field, as well as he just provides like this jolt of energy into the wide receiving room. I've touched before, especially yesterday, that the Chiefs didn't have a lot of explosiveness last season on the offensive front. So I would say, and I'm expecting that if Rashee Rice is able to play in multiple games this season, several 100 or more receiving yard games, as well as explosiveness from his side of the ball. Because, his speed mixed with a pairing of Xavier Worthy as well as Jalen Royals, even Hollywood Brown. There's a lot of talent to cover there that if you get Rashee Rice and Xavier Worthy both on the same side of the football and they're both targets, it's going to be real difficult for defenders to take them down. That being said, ladies and gentlemen, those are my expectations for both Rashee Rice and Josh Simmons. If you like what you're seeing, what you're hearing, make sure you keep up with the podcast. You can find it all the time on sports videos on SI on YouTube. You can follow me over on X at Dom Minchella. You can also follow us at KC Chiefs on X, KC Chiefs on SI over on X, where all of our stories get posted, as you're not going to want to miss anything as we continuously get closer to the 2025 NFL campaign. That being said, Chiefs Kingdom, you know the deal by now. If you've been watching, be kind to one another. The world needs more kindness. And I hope that you all have a blessed day, whatever day you're watching this. Have a good one. I'll see you tomorrow.